Hear him.
Yeah. Mute him.
And everybody, welcome back to Football No Filter. I am your host, Brun Krak. I am with your co-host, just like mine, Georgie. How's up? What's up? Everything with George?
What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Tá tudo bem?
To sub control.
Tá tudo no controle, assim mesmo. As you know, Nelson is also here, but right now he's off camera doing something that we all don't want to know. So, or maybe we do. I don't know. Write it in the comments and let me know what you think Nelson is doing. Anyway, so we're going to cover the week's action. There was plenty of action. Before I start, George, I have to promise my fans
Your fans.
that I was going to be pulling this out.
Your
And
Porto
it's not
fans.
what you think. I'm not going to pull that out. I'm going to pull this out. Estás a ver?
Some gibberish.
So this was dedicated to Brandon, as you know. He was all upset that I was going to be wearing the Portimonense jersey. I'm not wearing it, but I do have it with me because I can't take off a Porto jersey to put on a Portimonense jersey. It's not going to happen. All right.
It's your B team, right?
No, my B team is Porto B.
Okay.
So, all right, let's get started. We had a lot of games this weekend, a lot of interesting games. So we're going to get to it. It started off Friday, October 1st, Marítimo and Moreirense 0-0. I see Brian Neto on. Sorry, Brian. Moreirense could have won that game, and they didn't. Famalicão 1, Guimarães 2. Dude, Famalicão just has the worst luck right now. They are – it's sad to see. Vizela and Santa Clara 1-1. Porto 2, Paços Ferreira 1. Aroca 1, Sporting 2. I was just notified about my fan. Belenenses 0, Tondela 2. Benfica 0, Portimonense 1. Estoril 2, Gil Vicente 2. Braga 2, Boa Vista 2. And the table goes Benfica 21, Porto and Sporting 20, Estoril 15, Portimonense 14, Braga 13, Guimarães and Boa Vista at 10, Gil Vicente, Tondela, Paços Ferreira 9, Vizela 8, Marítimo and Moreirense 7, Santa Clara 6, Aroca 5, Belenenses 4, and Famalicão 3 points. George, other than the big three, which game was the one that appealed to you the most this week?
That appealed to me the most. I don't know. Let's see.
I'm going to give you mine. I thought
Which one do you have?
The Famalicão Guimarães game was a very, very good game.
You like that game?
It was a good game. I thought it was well played by both teams, and there was an offside at the end that it was called back at the last minute that would have gave Famalicão the draw, but Guimarães was able to hold on, and they scored 2-1.
Braga Boa Vista was an okay game.
That was a good game. Yes, that was actually a good call there. Braga and Guimarães that came down to the wire. That was a good game. Brian Neto also agrees with you about the Braga and Boa Vista game.
Oh, look at that! Cool.
I agree with that one also.
All right, there it is. Nelson also agreeing, and then we got Mlinga's also agreeing. Mlinga still has not replied to my question of last week. How is it a penalty last week at Aroca, but not this week, or last week against or last year against Belenenses and Porto? I'm waiting for him to reply.
We don't have time for last year's stuff.
We don't have time for lectures. Very good. All right. Hey, Nelson, you might want to put the mute on there.
What? No, stop.
Oh, hold on a second. Is that your ear or your rear?
That's my.
He's got a picture of his ear.
Oh, he's got a picture of his ear. Very good.
Totally
No, I'm back. What are you talking about?
No, all we see is the picture of the ear, dude.
What are you talking about? I see my face.
No,
I'm waving to you guys. All right, let me leave. Let me leave and come back.
Leave and come back on.
Yeah.
Those phones with the fruit on it, they're a little fruity.
All right. Let's quickly look at the table. Anything there that you want to mention, George, about the table or not?
Yeah,
Really?
that
What the fuck?
them Portimonense that last year almost dropped, and this year they're in 5th place.
That's now. We're only 8 games in. We got to
What the hell
relax.
is going on, dude?
We got to relax.
Braga, big disappointment.
Nelson,
Sturil's a big. I think
a big
Sturil's the big surprise.
I think what Nelson needs to do is he needs to restart his phone.
Change phones. Yes, I think that's what he needs.
Yeah, needs to restart his phone. All right, let's go into the games. And Nelson, you there?
I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
Restart the phone.
Restart your phone. Seriously, restart your phone.
Restart your phone.
Restart your phone.
it.
All right, we're gonna go into the game. The first game of the week was Porto and Passos de Ferreira. Diogo Costa in goal, João Mário, Pep, Marcano, Wendel, Chico Conceição, Uribe, Vitinha, Diaz, Ivan Nilsson, and Taremi. Ferreira in goal for Passos Ferreira, Wilton, Baixinho, Maracas, Antunes, Carlos, Eustáquio, Santos, Elder, Denilson, and Silva. Long story short, in this one, I thought this was a complete domination by Porto from start to finish. I thought we played actually pretty good. Vitinha is definitely a different type of player that brings something different to the midfield, a different style of creativity that we have lacked in recent years. And I do mean they're very recent years. It's a different style of intensity and it's a different style of movement on and off the ball. The guy is always around the ball. The guy's always looking for the ball, and it is so much more refreshing when we have him on the phone. When we have him on the field. You there? Yeah, I think his phone is done. All right. As for the defense, I'm not happy with Marcano. I'm very happy with Wendel. Wendel, I thought, had a pretty good offensive game. He hit the game winner. Ivan Nilsson was a good surprise. Taremi was also very good. Passos Ferreira was a quality team. There was some controversy in the game. The first goal I thought was a foul on Marcano that was not called by the referee or the VAR. There should have been a red card. I want to say it was on Baixinho. I could be wrong. It might have been on Antunes. I can't remember now. Outside of the box when Taremi was going to goal. And lastly, there was obviously the red card on Taremi, which I thought was a bad call. After the replay and the VAR images, they definitely should have figured that out, that it was not a simulation, but yes, a penalty, even though it was a light touch. It was still a touch where he could have get knocked off his feet or lose his balance to fall. I thought that was a bad call as well. In the end, it was a justified win, and I don't think we had to suffer so much. George, do you have a different opinion on that? Yes or no?
No, I don't have a different opinion. I think it was actually a pretty good lineup. Tough game against Passos Ferreira as it always is.
Especially after European game.
Dude, that's what I was gonna say. You know, I knew somebody was gonna lose points. You know, after the European games, I honestly thought I didn't think Benfica was going to be the team, you know, to lose points after the big win against Barcelona and after, you know, the stadium opening up for their for our adepts. I didn't see this one coming, to be honest. But we'll speak a little bit more about it when we're going over the Benfica game. But yeah, it's always, listen. Like we said last week, it's always tough games after these European games, especially European games against big clubs, right? Against Barcelona, against Liverpool. You know, it's not for you know, it's not coincidence that most of the big teams in Europe have lost their games after last week's European games. You know, PSG, you have Bayern Munich, you got a ton of teams that lost their games. You know, last weekend after playing Champions League games. But I think it was I think it was a good game. I think Taremi's red card. I think it was a just red card. Taremi's does this all the time, and the referees now it's gonna come to a point where it's really gonna be a penalty, and because he does this all the time, he's gonna keep getting the yellow cards and the red cards and stuff like that. So, but it was a good game.
Nelson, do you agree with the game? How'd you think about the game, or what did you think about the game? How'd you think that Porto did, and were you impressed by Paços Ferreira?
Listen, I think George mentioned. Can you guys hear me now? Because I had to.
Yeah,
go,
we can
Yeah.
hear you.
No,
fine.
you're good. You're good. You're here. We can hear you fine.
I had to go get my Mac, man, because I don't know. I couldn't hear you guys on the phone. It was a mess. So, listen, like George mentioned last week on the show, he said usually teams after the European games, they struggle a little bit. And that was the case for Porto. I think Porto scores a big goal right before the end of the first half.
Yeah.
To tie the game. I think that goal really changed things around. I got a feeling if Porto didn't score that game, they probably would not have won the game. Maybe a tie. Big win for Porto. A tough win for Porto. And but listen, I also agree. I think Taremi, he was probably tired. His diving skills were not on point on that game. And he definitely deserves that second yellow card, in my opinion. I don't think he gets touched at all. But good win for Porto, but a tough game for Porto. Definitely not an easy game for Porto.
Did both you and George think that should have been a direct red to the Paços Ferreira defender? I can't remember who it was that got the yellow, but should have it been a red because Taremi was going to goal?
I didn't see that one, to be honest with you. I don't know if I wasn't able to see it on the highlights. I don't know if you have the play or not. But I didn't see that.
I think it's close. I definitely think it's close. I think it could have gone either way, to be honest with you.
It was in the first half, and it was on Tunes at the 32nd minute. That was the play where I think Paços Ferreira lost the ball in the middle. Porto played a quick counterattack. They showed they said a through ball, and then it was Antunes that came from behind, and he just clipped him. It was outside the box. The question was it in the box? Was it out of the box? Well, it was proven that it was out of the box. Taremi fell in the box, but it was a clear foul outside the box. But it should have been a red, because if that wasn't the foul, there would have been no defender that would have been near to challenge Taremi, and it would have been a one-on-one scoring opportunity for Porto. I mean, do you guys agree or disagree?
You said it was in the 32nd minute?
I think it was the 32nd minute. I think it was that one. It was in the first half for sure.
I'm trying to look at it. Like I said, I didn't really see the play. I also agree with what you said before in regards to Vitinha. Every time Vitinha is on the field, it's a little bit different. And like today, the
U21s,
the U21 games, those Porto players, they just killed it today. 11-0 historical score, and I think it was 3 or 4 Porto players that were in the starting lineup, right?
Yeah. Was it 9-0 at halftime? I
think it was 6 at halftime, 6 or 9. It might be either 6 or 9.
I honestly did not have time to watch, so I'll catch the highlights. But
yeah, you don't see scores like that
in the modern day.
No. I think the last time I remember a score even close to that was Celta Vigo set Benfica 0.
What about the
what?
What about the Paços Ferreira goal on the
Paços Ferreira goal? I thought that was a foul because the player never really seemed that he never made a play on the ball. He made a play on the man. So Marcano's trying to attempt to play the ball, and he kind of bumps Marcano out of the way to get to the ball. I thought that was a clear foul. and we see those fouls called all the time, and it wasn't called, it wasn't reviewed, or it might have been reviewed, but they deemed that it wasn't enough
I
for a
think they
foul.
I think they reviewed the just the offside. I don't think they were reviewing
The foul
any
prior.
fouls. Yeah, yeah.
It's very possible, George. With this, I don't remember who the VAR was, but with Mota, who is a horrible referee, I thought he was at fault at this one. So
Yeah, Mota doesn't really have any really good games. He's just
no, never.
shouldn't. It's horrible.
But guys, anything else do you guys want to mention about this game before we move on to Aroca and Sporting?
No, I think that's it pretty much for the Porto game, unless anybody else has any comments or questions. But I think it was a well deserved win by Porto, definitely.
All right, George, I'm going to leave. Do you have the lineups, or do you want me to read them real quick?
No, I haven't. I'll have the lineups.
All right, take it
All
away.
right,
I'll be right back.
so we're going to go through the Sporting Aroca game. So for Aroca, Castro was on net. Olex, Basso, Ba, Isgaio, Silva, Coassi, Moreira, Bukia, Dabak, Arsenio. And then for Sporting, we have Adan, we have Reis, Coates, Isgaio, Santos, Palhinha, Bragança, Porro, Nunes, Sarabia, and our great forward, our $26 million man, million euro man, Mr. Paulinho up front. What you got to say about this game, Mr. Nelson Litter?
Listen, George. So once again, struggle on offense again. I mean, it's a common occurrence, game after game after game. I mean, I think I've been saying that every single week. I do like what Bragança brings to the team. I enjoy him. I enjoy watching him play. I also think Saraiva is getting more and more involved with the team, and I think he's playing better and better each game. And I think he's going to be a big part of this team for this season. I know he's a loner, so you'll be gone. Listen, Paulinho can score, but once again, he made a nice pass to Saraiva, and then Saraiva put it back, and then Matheus Nunes scores. Second half, they tied the game 1-1, and I was like, here we go again. And then like a minute and a half later, we score frango do guarda-redes do Aroca. I mean, a professional goalie has to save that, in my opinion. Listen, winning on the road, it's not easy. No matter who you're playing, winning on the road is never easy. I mean, the way every game that Sporting plays this season is not easy, home or on the road. So winning on the road is not easy. It's 3 points, 3 important points. I'll take the points. Like I say, the positive points that I take away from my game is Saraiva. I liked him. Bragança. Nuno Santos. I like the kid. I mean, the kid hustles. That kid is full of energy the entire game. Matheus Nunes is a beast. And listen, the guys are coming back. Pod's coming back. I think he's going to play for the Taça, the League Cup or whatever. I think he's already going to play a few minutes there. So we're getting guys back. I think we miss him a lot. And, once again, Paulinho didn't score, but he was involved in the goal. So, I mean, but once again, it's 20-some million just that's not scoring. And Sporting struggles in the last third. And eventually, it's, we either start scoring or it's going to start catching up to us. We're going to be up 1-0, and we're going to allow a goal in the 90 minutes, and we're going to tie the game. Simple as that.
So what do you think is the big difference between last year and this year? I mean, is it just Pot being out? Is it teams that are already understand the style of play of Amorim, and they understand more his tactics with the three centrais? Because when you look at Sporting, not a lot changed, right? I mean, João Mário is out of the team.
And I don't think we miss him. João Mário is out of the team, and I don't think we miss him because I think Matheus Nunes is better than him, in my opinion. I think that with that analysis, I mean, I think the question is, as a Sportingista or most Sportingistas,
or even Ruben Amorim when he said that in an interview this week, is is he? Do you guys really mean that, or is it just because João Mari went to the big rival?
No, I'm being 100% honest with you. I really mean that. I think João Mario holds up the game too much. At least he did for us. I don't think he's a guy that just moves the ball forward. And I think Mateus Nunes does more of that. I don't think he holds the ball back as much as João Mario did. So I'm extremely happy with Mateus Nunes. So I'm being 100% honest with you. I think it's a mix of things. One, I think our offensive game is too predictable. It's pretty much the same plays over and over. It's the crosses, but it's always the same thing. We do good up until the last third. Then we get to the last third, and it's like there's either no movement, or guys are just standing still, or the ball always goes to the same guy. It's just too predictable. Like, a gente não constrói uma jogada rápida. Parece que é tudo sempre a mesma coisa. You know what I mean? It's always the same plays over and over and over. Sometimes they work, a lot of times they don't. So,
I think I'm not a big João Mari fan. I've never been a big João Mari fan. But one thing I gotta give it to him is that and maybe we call these players slow players and stuff like that. But I think there's some props you got to give these type of players, because usually, like João Mario, for example, I think João Mario is a very good controller of the game. He knows when to speed up the game. He knows when to slow the game down. And I think when he slows the game down, sometimes it's when players are out of position or something like that. And I think a player like him, like I hear you saying that Mateus Nunes it's a faster player, is a player that thinks more pa frente and stuff like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the team plays better with that type of player. It depends on the team. It depends on the style of play. It depends on the experience of the team, because you have a player that quote unquote could be reckless with the ball and just looks at going forward. The problem is when you lose that ball and your players are out of position, and that's when you get hurt on the counter. So I think it could go either way with that analysis.
I agree with you. I think, but missing right now, I think our biggest problem so far this season is missing Pod. Pod has missed a bunch of games already, and he's listen. Say what you want to say. He makes a difference in the field. Last year he scored a bunch of beautiful and important goals, and we missed that. That guy is a guy that can make a play happen from nothing at any time of the game. And right now, we really don't have that. And I think that's our biggest miss, is that one right there at this moment.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you also. I think he's a playmaker. He's someone that pushes the game over to your side. Tira o balanço do jogo.
Exactly.
On a one-on-one, he can make the plays. He could finish the plays. There's a lot of stuff that he can he can do. And a team like Sporting, I don't want to be disrespectful or anything, but there's really not a lot of those players that are, quote unquote, could be a superstar or whatever like that. Do you think Nuno Mendes being out of the team, that hurts the team as well?
Yes, well, he does for one reason. I mean, we have the same player on the right side. O Porro corre aquela porcaria toda. You know what I mean? But we don't have that on the left side anymore. And I think Nuno Mendes just ran the entire field, like nonstop, like back and forth. And I think having a player that can do that, like Porro does on the right side, opens up other holes that we're not doing on the left side.
So you think that's where that predictability now comes from, where the teams just know that it's going to go through, that most of the game is going to go through Porro's side?
I think so. I think so. I think that definitely comes into play a little bit. I think they know our most dangerous side. The funny thing is, like, our most dangerous side is the right side with Porro, But then Nuno Santos on the left does a great job. You know what I mean? But I think if you had another guy on the left like Nuno Mendes last year, I think we would be a lot more dangerous. But I
I
still
always,
think
I always like Nunes. Nunes,
he's a
I've
hell of a
always liked
player.
him. I think it's a bunch of things, right? I think Sporting misses Nuno Mendes. I think Sporting, you know, rather whether you guys admit it or not, you know, the Sporting style of game. I think João Mario is a player that is missed as well. I think teams or coaches are catching on to Ruben Amorim's um, tactics when it comes to the three fullbacks. And I also think, you know, I have to say it. I also think that the fact that you're playing every 3 days is also affecting the team. You know, and now there's going to be more games now coming up with all the Tasas games and all that crap. So I don't see Sporting with a I don't see Sporting with a very deep plantel, and I think that they might get hurt by you know, in December, January, February. I think it's going to be. I think they're gonna be hurt by that fact, and the fact that, like you said, that Paulinho or the forwards, or yeah, I think he's the only forward that can't score the games, that can't score the goals, and the games. Para resolver os jogos, you're depending on midfielders to score. I don't think it's going to be an easy season for Sporting, um, based on all those things. Unless you get to January and you adjust the plantel a little bit with a couple of signings.
But at the same time, we discussed this, and our Sporting was struggling. And 8 games into the season, we have 6 wins and 2 ties. You know, let's not forget that. You know?
Yeah.
So
Well,
the same,
I mean, I'm not looking. I'm not looking at the. I don't look at the wins,
no,
losses, ties. I look at how much they struggle to get those wins or get those ties.
exactly, and we all agree on that. I completely agree with you on that. So we'll see. I mean, listen, Bragança was barely playing. And the kid can ball.
Yep.
The kid can play. And he was barely playing. So, you know, like, não sei se também era insistência do Amorim. Os mesmos substituições. But the kid just can, you know, the kid can definitely play. The kid can play. So I think he needs to play more. And if you see, you know, and now we put coming back, that's another guy that we're going to have there. So he's got to make the right substitutions and give these guys more minutes. You know, like I don't like Jovan. I think Jovan has been given enough chances. You know, like don't get me wrong, he scored some big goals last year, especially against Porto. But I don't know. He's not my cup of tea.
What you got on Sporting, Bruno?
What do I got on Sporting? Listen, the way I kind of viewed that game was that Sporting dominated the game. Aroca's not the best team. Sporting is struggling scoring goals right now, and probably has a lot to do with Pot's influence. Maybe Nuno, not so much Nuno Mendes, but Pot for sure. Sarabia has helped a lot, but having that goal scoring striker is going to be a problem. So I think at the end of the day, I think that's going to be the big one. I mean, I don't know if Nelson wants to touch on it or if he touched on it because I had to step away for a second.
I did.
But Paulinho was not 16 million. He was 22 and change million.
26.
And he's not 26. I'm sorry. And he's not scoring goals. And that, you know, that for a Sporting fan, that has got to be puzzling. How do we spend that amount of money for a 29-year-old and he's not scoring goals? You got a Pot that is injured, and you can tell that Sporting has never been the same since he's been injured. You have other players that have been missing, and they're not so efficient. They're not so productive as those other players. And Aroca, if it wasn't for the frango that was given, Sporting would have lost more points. And I think another big factor why Sporting is struggling right now is the fact that they have to play twice a week. Playing twice a week is very difficult for any team. And I think they're the ones that are struggling right now because they're not used to it. Let's be honest. Mateus Nunes is a player that brings a lot of intensity to a game and all that, but it's not the same as Port. Port is an offensive threat from anywhere on the field. Let it be his creativity, his vision, his shooting, both short and long distance. I mean, the guy can finish. They don't have a player like that right now, and I think that's where Sporting is struggling the most. And then they're going to need somebody to come in and step in and step up. And I don't think they have that on their team.
You didn't walk away. You were listening to me. You just said everything I said.
I wasn't listening. I said I wasn't. I had to step away.
It
So
was pretty much word for word, brother. Exactly the same thing that I mentioned.
we see the same. We see the same things then, Nelson.
I guess so.
Tá a ver.
That's it. That's it.
What about you, George? What do you think of the game? What do you have to say?
No, I mean, I think the same thing. I think Sporting is very lucky to get out of Aroca with 3 points. I think they're struggling. I think there's no how do you say it? Feed jug. They're struggling. They're just struggling. They're missing their best player, Pote. They're not. The forwards are not doing their job. I think, and then the problem is that you have Paulinho that's stinking up the place, and you don't have anybody else to sub him. Who else are you going to put there in his place?
No,
There's nobody else.
Thiago Tomás is not a striker. I mean, he's just,
Look, I just don't think that's. I just don't think that's.
I have a question for you, Nelson.
yes.
Do you think that he is a Sporting player?
Who?
Tete.
Listen, the kid is young. I mean, how old is he now? 21, 20?
20, I think.
I think he's 20 years old. He's young. I'm not saying, listen, the guy can run all day. You know what I mean? The guy, he tries. I mean, maybe he can still get better. I don't know if he's the type of striker I want. I want a guy that's going to be in the area. You cross the ball. I want a Jardel. That's what I want, to be honest with you. That's the type of player I want. Like any ball that was crossed to him, I already knew where that ball was going to end up. And for all the accolades that we gave that guy with his header, he was not bad with his feet either. You know, like that guy could just score. And, you know, something like that. And Acosta, I'll be honest with you guys. If you ask me right now, hey, Nelson, who would you rather have on your team? Paulinho or Sferovic? I would, oh my God, if he could loan us Sferovic, I would take Sferovic right now in an instant. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Sferovic would do great for Sporting. Call me
He needs
crazy.
a home too. He needs a home too.
Call me crazy, but I mean, that's just my opinion. And Benfica doesn't need him because he doesn't even play.
Well, he's hurt.
Well, he's been hurt.
And
But he ain't gonna play when he's
ain't gonna
hurt.
play anyway.
There's not enough. There's no space for him.
Gonzalo Ramos
Scored 4 goals today.
And I see the comment right now saying Slimani. Listen, maybe I'm different than everybody else.
You gotta get over that. He's
I don't want
34
Slimani.
years old.
Slimani, ever since he left Sporting, you went to Leicester, you went to Turkey, you went to France. The guy's been all over. I think he scored 4 goals or whatever the hell he scored in the last 3 seasons. You know what I mean? Why for that? I already have those guys on my team. I don't want them. You know what I mean? I think we gotta.
Epa!
There's like 18 people calling me.
Olha, é o Varandas.
Varandas. Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Oh, é o Nelson, é o Bruno Carvalho, pá. Is he at the club?
Huh?
É o Bruno Carvalho at the club?
No, that was my son with a bunch of girls. What the hell is wrong with all that?
What's wrong with you? Where's the party?
The kid is 11 years old, dude.
Oh, he's 11. I'm sorry.
Look, he's just learned stuff. I didn't even know Nelson had a son. I'm serious.
Well,
All right. Who are you talking to?
Hi, Dad.
Is that your girrefriend?
No,
Futebol, Football
your
no
girlfriend,
filter.
Alex?
You get everything over here. We're talking about bolas todos lados.
Daddy wants to meet your girlfriend. Okay.
Are you Alex's dad?
Yeah, I'm Alice's dad, and I want to meet you. I want to see. I want to see what you look like. Because my son needs,
He needs parental guidance.
Bye.
Wait,
Bye.
what happened? I wasn't there.
Vê lá se ficas avô.
What the fuck?
Vê lá se ficas avô.
So yeah, I mean, listen, Benfica got rid of 2 guys, and they still have like 5, and Sporting has none. It's crazy. So I would definitely take Svedovic on my team. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he would do well there as well.
I think so too. But that would never happen, though. I don't think that would ever happen.
No, that won't happen. You guys just trade players with Porto. You don't do that stuff with Sport. With Benfica, I mean. Let's move on to the Benfica game.
This fucking kid.
Epa, agora.
What
Just mute yourself, Nelson. Just mute yourself. We'll move on.
All right, let's go over to the Benfica game and the lineups for Benfica: Blanco Dimos, Verissimo, Otamendi, Vertonghen, Gilberto, João Mário, Weigl, Alex Grimaldo, Rafa Silva, Yaremchuk, and Darwin Nunes. And for Portimonense, we have Samuel, Candé, Henrique, Silva Rocha, Possignolo, Mufi, Sá, Fernandes, Carlinhos, Fabrício, Ibo Mart. Look, I'm gonna be really, really, really brief with this game because I really don't want to spend a lot of time on it. If Benfica was still playing Portimonense right now, we still wouldn't have been able to score.
SLB, glorioso Portimonense, SLB, SLB, enche-me longe, SLB, glorioso Portimonense, SLB.
Hey, George, I just want to let you know this is not for you, but this is for Steve Lourenço and Brandon Sebastian.
Oh, that's okay. It's all good. It's
This is not for you, but it's for our 2 Canadian bananas.
All in good fun. So Benfica had 24 shots versus 5. It goes to what I'm saying. We could be there the whole day and we wouldn't have been able to score. It was one of those games. The best player on the field was the goalkeeper for Portimonense. And we've had a lot of since I've remembered, we've had a lot of these games where we play either a Boa Vista or we play a Santa Clara or a Marítimo or something like that, and you could be there the whole day and the ball just won't go in. I remember a game, Boa Vista Benfica, a few years back at Estádio da Luz, where era bolas à trave, bolas ao poste, and it wouldn't go in. And this is one of those games. Obviously, Benfica deserved to win the game. It wasn't the best game. Hold on, let me go back. When I say Benfica deserved to win the game, based on the output, when you look at the shots, when you look at percentage of ball possession and all that good stuff, you look at it and you're like, oh, what the hell happened here? How did Benfica lose the game? And I think it's a really simple explanation. Benfica had absolutely no intensity in the game until they were scored on. Absolutely no intensity, no game intensity. This is one of the game. This is a game that you come from beating Barcelona 3-0, and from minute 1 until you're up 2-3-0, you just freaking go all out and hustle and run and get the game over with as soon as possible. So then you could, Jorge Jesus could sub some players out and rest up. And the team didn't do that. The team just it was just parecia jogo de casados contra solteiros. But even that way, there's such a difference between both teams that Benfica was still, controlling the ball. They were still doing shots and all that good stuff. But when you really analyze the game, there was no intensity. When Portimonense had the ball, there wasn't that hurry to recover the ball or anything like that, or to make Portimonense make mistakes. And like we spoke about it last week and the week before, Kano marcas off, and in a freak, in a cross, a header, Blanco Dimes couldn't do anything, and the game was over. Portimonense was already wasting time in the first half. So imagine what Portimonense did after they were up 1-0. The game was over. That's my analysis of the game.
Nelson, do you want to go? Or do you want me to go?
Sure, I'll go real quick. Listen, I think Benfica actually played a good game. I mean, it was 20-some shots. I think Benfica just couldn't score, and I really hope that happens every game that they play. Like I had a couple friends that were in Portugal on vacation. They were at the stadium. Like they were all happy, posting all these videos and pictures before the game started. All that shit ended. Never saw any pictures after the game. Never saw any comments after the game. So, listen, it was a perfect evening. But like I say, the goalie for Portimonense was just on fire. I mean, that guy made saves out of this world. And that one shot the Portimonense scored, it's a corner. The ball goes between the guys, Olise's legs. Nothing he can do. It's right there. But definitely a game that Benfica should have won, could have won, deserved to win. But listen, if they can lose every weekend, I'll take it. I mean, no complaints from me.
That's it?
That's it. I mean, I was happy. Like I said, I was very happy. I mean, I even wrote songs for these guys. Like I'm extremely happy.
Well, I'm going to kind of, you guys kind of touched it all. This was kind of an unlucky game for Benfica. I mean, when you have that many shots versus 5 of Portimonense, and it actually happened. The guy that scored is the guy that typically makes mistakes against Benfica, which is Fossignolo. But it was his turn to shine. He got a header in, and Benfica just couldn't score. And I think at the end of the day, was it because of fatigue in the middle of the week? I don't think so. I think it was just pure bad luck in terms of not being able to finish. And that's really it. I mean, I don't think there was really any controversial calls that Benfica could say or Portimonense say that they were they were prejudiced or anything like that. I think it was just an unlucky game, and obviously it was a surprising result. I was not expecting Benfica to lose any type of points against Portimonense at home. So that was that. To answer your question, Lingus, yes, of course I'm happy. When Benfica loses points or when they lose games, I'm happy. I don't care if it's in the league, Taça da Liga, Taça de Portugal, or Champions League or UEFA or whatever. When they lose, they make me happy. So lose more, it makes Bruno happy. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if Nelson wants to say or add anything else other than that. I mean, it was an unfortunate game for them.
I do. I actually have one more thing to say. Give me 1 second.
I think it was a good result because there was a lot of people already talking that they were going to run away with the league, and a lot of people were saying they were going to win every game, and so on and so forth. I don't think it was going to be that drastic. So.
SLB, glorioso Portimonense, SLB, enche-me longe, SLB, glorioso.
There you go.
They're already celebrating. They're already saying, it's over. We're gonna have 185 points at the end of the season. Whatever. They thought they were going to win every game. So this brings them back down to earth a little bit,
And actually brings back what happened not too long ago, where the strikers for Benfica were struggling to score, and now they're back. And I brought this up on my other show that I do. Now this is you got 2 weeks off an international break. That could linger in a lot of guys' heads. This game, I mean. Yeah. It was unfortunate this, that, the other, but it also could linger, and it could really affect them psychologically going into the next game, which I think is going to be a cup game, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. And another thing, Bernie, if you think about it, listen, 8 games into the season, Sporting already played Braga on the road, Porto at home. They already got 2 real tough games out of the way. Who did really Benfica play? Guimarães on the road. That was their toughest game. you know, but they haven't played Braga, they haven't played Porto, they haven't played Sporting. You know what I mean? Like
Well, Braga's a win.
it used to be all the time. I think it's changing a little bit, but
A little bit.
my point is, it's like they really Benfica's schedule. If you look at the three big one schedules, I think Benfica by far has had the easiest schedule. I don't think any of us can deny that.
I mean, they all have to play each other.
They do.
It really depends on the time of year. I think Benfica has a tough game against Vizela, to be honest, in the next game away. That's going to be a tough one because Vizela does play open, and they have some decent players. Obviously, Benfica's the favorite, but it is what it is. We'll see. Porto has a tough game against Tondela because Porto always struggles against Tondela. They might beat them, but it's never an easy game. So
I don't know when they play Estoril and stuff, but Estoril right now is a tough game.
Yes, especially at home. When they're at home, it's a tough game. When it's away, when Estoril is away, it's a little different. But I don't think that Estoril is as dangerous as you say, only because of their, at home, yes, but away, not so much. The way they played against Sporting dominated Estoril. Dominated. It was only a couple of goals. It was 1-0, right? 2-1?
No, 2-1.
2-1.
It was a tough game.
It was a tough game, but Sporting made it more tough because they couldn't finish. Because if they finished their chances, this would have been a blowout. Because Estoril offensively didn't really exist.
Yeah, I understand, but right now they're having a hell of a season, that's for sure.
So we'll see. Brian Neto said that Vizela away is always hard for the top three, or is always hard for the top three. I think away is very difficult.
Wait a second. Vizela hasn't been in the first division in
20 plus years.
30 years. They've only been in the first division once, so we really can't think about that from 30 years ago, right?
Well, look, you're looking at just kind of looking ahead a little bit. So Benfica plays Vizela on the road, and then they play Estoril on the road, back to back.
No, and I think it'll be tough. Listen, they had a great season last year in the second division. Same thing with Estoril. They had a great season last year. I think these and I think these teams can actually play. I think they can actually both ball, but we just can't think about and then
it'll be Benfica versus Braga the week after that.
When does Benfica play Porto or Sporting or anything like that? Like 2024?
I think it's toward the end of the towards December, no?
It's December 3rd right now. December 3rd. It's a Friday. It's going to be Portimonense Porto, and then right after it will be a Benfica Sporting.
And what about Porto? When do they play Porto? I thought they played Porto.
They play him in the New
January.
Year.
New Year, January.
January already?
They play him in the New Year. Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, sorry, no. December 29th.
That's what I'm saying.
Right there.
Because I remember I had looked at the calendar prior to this, and I was like, "Oh my god, what a shitty New Year is going to be for the Lampions." I remember that.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. All right. Did we talk about Champions League, or did we talk about Champions League the last time, or did we not? I don't remember.
When did they play?
We spoke about Champions League after the. Yeah, we spoke about.
Oh yeah, last week I was at dinner.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. You guys want to talk about the national team and the call-ups? I'll leave that up to Nelson and George because, to be honest, I could care less.
But listen, to be honest with you, like I know they got two games coming up. One is a qualifying game, right, and the other one is just a friendly game.
They play Qatar again
Again.
On Saturday, and then they play Luxembourg.
The only thing I got to say about this, I'm extremely happy that he called up Mateus Nunes. I think if he didn't, he was going to lose him, and he'll definitely show up for the Portugal, games, unlike the Brazil qualification. So I think I know right now he might not mean nothing, but I think it's big. I think he's going to be a good player for Portugal. Other than
How long has Mateus Nunes been in Portugal?
Since he was like 13 years old, something like that. He's been there for years. Like his mom loves Portugal. His mom is there. His mom loves Portugal. She has a Portuguese flag flying around. Like so. It's not like the guy showed up yesterday.
And he actually, though, this is the difference with this guy is he actually turned down a Brazil call up. He was actually called for the last game for Brazil, and he turned it down.
So I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be. I'm not saying he's going to be a key player right now, but I do think he can play. So I think it's a good call up for Portugal for sure. Let me see.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Brincão has left because he tested positive.
I was wrong, dude. He's 23 years old, and he was in 80 cents in 2012. So he's been in Portugal for 9 years already. So yeah, so I was right. 13, 14. Yeah, I was right. Actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was not wrong.
Cool. We need this win against Luxembourg. We can't afford any hiccups.
No, I think we'll be fine. I mean,
And we play at home, right? So
yeah,
it should be good.
We beat them on the road 3-1. I remember we were losing. Actually, we were losing that game. So, well, listen, I will definitely call. I think we're definitely going to qualify for the World Cup again. I think it's Ronaldo's last World Cup. I hope it's Ronaldo's last World Cup.
I don't think so.
I hope he doesn't play in 2026. That'll be insane.
That'll be here in the United States. You get to see him and say goodbye to him.
Listen, I mean,
he's coming for you, Nelson.
I don't want him. Listen,
I'll go watch him for sure.
I appreciate everything he's done for the sport. I don't want him to be on a team that's going to be a detriment to the team by having him on the field. I don't want that. Like I say, I might be the only.
Do you see that already in some games?
I do. I really do. And I'll give you an example. There was a game, Manchester United game. Somebody passed him the ball, but the ball went too far and went to the corner. So he just like looked back and he's like waving. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to find that video. I'm going to send it to you guys. All of a sudden, all the way from the other side, Cavani comes running like a bullet, chasing after the ball, and actually gets to the ball.
Well,
He was way further than Ronaldo.
Do you think that Cavani was on his way to Benfica when he was running that fast?
Yes.
Okay.
But then he went right past the gate and missed the plane. But so I do think. Listen, the guy can still finish. Let's not fucking sit here and pretend the guy can't finish. The guy can still finish. Like you cross the ball to the area, if he's there, there's a good chance he's going to put it in the back of the net. He's done with free kicks. He shouldn't even be attempting free kicks anymore. At all. But can he still finish? Yes. Is he the same player that he was 3, 4, 5 years ago? Not even close. And if anybody says he is, then you're just kidding yourself. And I might be the only Sporting guy that does not want him back in 2 years. I do not want him in Sporting in 2 years. I just don't.
You'll still do better than Paulinho.
He's probably right. But my point, George, it's like Sporting fans are like, oh, Ronaldo. What has he really done for Sporting, guys? Yes, I appreciate everything he's done for the game of football. I appreciate everything he's done. Now, what he's done for Sporting, what has he done for Sporting?
What did he play? A season?
No, barely.
Not even. He was He was Sporting's João Felix.
So it's like don't give me that. Like I don't want him back when he's 39. I just don't. Like stay in menu, finish out, and whatever. And the same thing. I don't want him in the national team in 2026. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't want him in the national team in 2024 for the Euro.
Nelson and George, I have a question for you. Do you think that maybe Ronaldo and Messi to Newcastle next year?
Well, that's what I was going to talk about. I have it put up. Big news of the day.
Yeah, they got him for $300 million.
So Saudi Arabia's public investment fund bought Newcastle today. So just to give you an idea, Sheikh Mansour owns Manchester City. He's worth 23 billion euros. The Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund that just bought Newcastle is worth 320 billion euros.
Yeah, so just for the people following at home,
Over
Manchester
100
City.
times.
yeah, Manchester City is second on that list with 23 billion. This guy has 320 billion.
Listen, now, okay, I get all that, but now we got to think about it. If he's really going to spend the money on the team, because some of these guys have bought these teams and they have not spent the money.
This is true. This is true.
You know what I mean?
No.
What do you mean? No. Yes.
The from the Medio Oriente. Tell me one that hasn't spent the money.
No, they're listen. The guy that
No. Don't talk about the Americans and all that stuff. These guys don't play with stuff like that. These guys, who?
The Indian guy that owns Leicester City, like he didn't go crazy spending like insane amount of money like these guys do. You know what I mean? There's a couple guys.
But that's that guy we're not talking about. You're talking about somebody from.
No, there's a couple. I'll pull up all the owners.
Where's the guy from? That's the guy. The guy that died in the helicopter. He's from
Leicester. He's from
yeah,
Thailand.
but he's from Thailand.
Right.
But you compare his net worth to these guys. It's like play money for these guys.
I'm just saying. Let's see if they do spend the money. If they do spend the money, listen, like great. I don't mind Newcastle coming back. I mean, listen, not that many years ago, we're probably talking about 20 years ago, Newcastle. Listen, Liverpool went through a dark stage. Liverpool used to be a beast back then, and he went through a very dark period. So
in the 90s.
Yeah, remember when Liverpool had Grobler as the goalie, that crazy goalkeeper and stuff. Man City was a nobody.
Man City was a nobody. Yes.
Well, Man City was a nobody. Chelsea was a nobody.
So
it was Arsenal and United.
Chelsea,
basically,
Chelsea was a cup team. Chelsea was a cup team back then. Before Abramovich bought them, they were basically a cup team for decades. They were outsiders for the league, but they were always a cup contender. But I get what you're saying, George.
Well, listen, I think if everything goes according to my plan, in 5 years, I'm going to change my name to Chica Abdullah Letra. And I'm going to be investing in Sporting a lot. I'm going to buy Sporting for like 18 million euros.
in VMOX at 70% discount.
And then we're going to be the same thing. We're going to be
cryptocurrency?
Yeah, cryptocurrency. And then we're going to be like Man City and shit.
The Sporting is.
Yeah.
I think this is a game changer in England. I think these guys are going to invest heavily in
we'll see, man. We'll see because
you think he'll get like a guy like Mbappe?
I don't think it'll start with an Mbappe. I think it'll start with especially Mbappe. Look, it's clear to Mbappe that money's not really a priority to him right now. His dream was to play for Real Madrid, and I think that's where he's going because I think the last numbers that came up, I think they offered him Messi money, and he doesn't even want to sit down to talk about a new contract. So I don't think it's that moves them. I think, but I'm sure they'll definitely be able to get some players that are moved by the mighty Euro and then build upon that.
There's talks that some of these guys are also trying to buy in France, trying to buy Saint Etienne, which a lot of people don't know. That's the team with the most titles in France.
Right.
It's not
PSG.
Everybody thinks PSG is a monster. PSG has only been around for 50 years.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't even check.
1970.
Check that yet.
1970.
40 years, 41 years. That's right. PSG has not been around for that long. Saint Etienne is actually the one with the most titles in France.
Right.
They're actually struggling this year. They're struggling financially. They're struggling in the standings. And I saw that there was talks of somebody with a lot of money trying to buy him, trying to save him.
But same group?
It was somewhere from there. I don't know if it was the same group, but
Was it Abdul Litra?
No, Abdul Litra. No, Abdul Litra is saving himself for Sporting 5 years from now.
Oh, it wasn't Abdul Litra.
No, not Abdul Litra.
Well, I mean, we got to see. I mean, that would be interesting if they get some.
So it's a Cambodian. It's the Cambodian prince
Oh
that
yeah,
offered,
there you go.
that offered 100 million to buy Saint Etienne.
I wish it, and I hope he does because they're struggling. They have no money. They're really struggling. And if you look how many titles they got, I think they got one more than PSG right now. I know PSG only been around for 40 years, but
one more than I think Marseille. I think PSG is not there yet.
I don't know.
Believe it or
Norodom
not.
Ravichok.
Believe it or not, Nelson, they're not there just yet.
Yeah, I mean, and that's with all the money that they've spent, but that just shows you how much more those leagues are used to be competitive on a year in, year out. Like any team could win it. We don't have that in Portugal. We never did, probably never will. All these other countries, like before all the big money came in, in France, any team could have won that. You never knew who was going to win it. Even in Italy, it was there was always a lot of different winners until Juventus really went on a big run. Spain was a little bit.
Yeah, ready?
So in France, Saint Etienne has 10, Marseille has 9, Paris Saint-Germain has 9, Monaco 8, Nantes 8, Lyon 7, Bordeaux 6, Reims 6, Lille 4, Nice 4. That's basically where it's at.
Where are you seeing this? Because I got Marseille and Saint Etienne with 10 each.
Nope.
Maybe
Nope.
I also got Sporting with 54, so I don't know what side.
So Marseille won in 36-37, 47-48, 70-71, 71-72, 88-89, 89-90,
Okay.
90-91, 99-192, and 209-010.
I'm gonna tell you. You know what they count? The amateur and professional in one, and then when it's just professional, that's the one that you're reading, boss.
Mhm.
That's it. You're reading the professional one when the league became just pro.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Very
the non-sporting way of reading.
Yeah, so in 1932 they changed it, and Marseille had one prior to that. Correct.
which is interesting. Now, remember another one that PSG was Racing Paris prior, and then they merged with some other club and they became PSG in 1970, and then that's how they formed PSG.
First championship for Paris Saint-Germain was 85-86. It's crazy how many teams won the French league. I mean, you look at the Portuguese league and you have three. You have Sporting, Benfica, Porto. You have Boavista that won one. I think you have Belenenses that won another one, and that's it. And over here you got a shitload of teams that won the championship.
Well, not so fast, because if they actually come through with that, with that historical research.
No, but the disparity would still be a lot, bro.
I get it. But you would get Marítimo as a champion, Carvalhinhos as a champion. I think.
I get it. But
that's still.
But it's not within two of each other, like these countries. Like you go to Brazil, and 50 teams have won a title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And probably the one with the most has like 5 or 6. You know what I mean? Something like that. Something stupid like that.
There's more parity, is what you're saying.
Way more parity. And listen, and it used to be like that in England a lot more than now. Now you already know when the season starts. You already know it's Liverpool.
But why is there more parity? I think that's.
I think
there's more parity because there's not a lot. There wasn't a lot of money in that league there, so there wasn't that. You didn't have those 2 or 3 teams that got all the revenue and bought all the good players. It was all pretty much even.
No, each team had like one really good player or a superstar, and then so it was always competitive. I still remember Marseille used to have Jean-Pierre Papin.
Jean-Pierre Papin, yeah. You had Bordeaux with who played for Bordeaux? Chalana played for Bordeaux.
Chalana played for Bordeaux, and
Foutre, no. Foutre played in France too, Marseille.
I mean, I remember Platini played for Juventus. He also played in France. So it's like. So it it's not that one team could just be so loaded like it is now. You know what I mean? Like one team just goes and gets all the best players. Look at Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, every year, if somebody from Dortmund stands out, guess where he's playing next year? He's playing at Bayern Munich. You know what I mean? It's like it's nuts.
Well, here we go with the EPL. I mean, Manchester United now is the new team with the most titles at 20. Liverpool at 19, which for decades it was Liverpool as the team with the most titles. Arsenal at 13, Everton at 9, Aston Villa, Man City with 7, Sunderland and Chelsea with 6, Newcastle and Sheffield Wednesday with 4. I'll stop it there. And just because we brought up Newcastle before, the last time that they won a league title was in 1926-27.
Wow.
Mhm.
But there you go. See, if you take away those two, Man U has always been a powerhouse, and Liverpool was a powerhouse for a long time, and then
What about Nottingham? Did they win any championships?
Nottingham Forest, it had one title.
You know, believe they have 2 Champions Leagues.
They do in the 70s. But their last title, Nottingham Forest, was 1977-78.
I compare them a lot with Benfica. They also have 2 Champions League, like in the black and white era.
Yeah, it's better than some that don't even have black, white color or gray or rainbow or whatever. They have nothing.
I know you're not talking about my team because in the Champions League, I'm a Madrid fan and we have the most titles.
I'll give you another one. Tottenham has only 2, and their last one was in 1960-61.
Yeah, and they suck, and they're gonna keep sucking, and they just suck. Like, what do you want me to tell you? And these guys wanted to. Man City wanted to. See, that's what I hate about these British teams. They wanted to pay 100-some million for Harry Kane. Get the fuck out of here.
180 million.
Harry Kane is
for a 29-year-old player.
Harry Kane is the Paulinho of England. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
But he scores goals.
No, Harry Kane is good, but he's not worth.
He's not worth 200 million, George.
At 29, he's not worth 200 million. Like that, give us 150. You could take Darwin.
But the nuts, the crazy thing is like these guys spend that money between them all the time. There must be something for that to happen.
Something in the air.
Dude, that 120 million for the for
Jack
for the
Grealish. Jack 100 million or 120 million, and then
120 million.
Like they buy defenders that I never heard of for 60 million. Like
and then it's what Nelson says. Then they come to Portugal and they offer 10 million for the best scorer in Portugal, whatever. Like, get the hell out of here.
And then they come to Portugal. Hey, can we take Bruno Fernandes for 20 million, please? I mean, it's a joke. Like I just don't understand. I really don't get it. Like there must be something that they got going between each other for sure.
And in the Brasileirão, by the way, the Brasileirão, the team that won the most championships is Palmeiras with 10.
There you go. See, 10.
That's crazy.
That's what I mean. It's not much. And Brazil has been around. Soccer in Brazil has been around since my great-grandfather over that.
Second is Pelé Santos with 8.
See?
I will say this. You look at Italy, there's a little bit, there's some parity. I said some, not all. I mean, Juventus is by far with 36, Inter with 19, Milan 18, and then there's a big drop off where there's the parity. Genoa 9, Torino, Bologna, and Pro Vercelli at 7. Roma only has 3, Lazio, Napoli, and Fiorentina 2. Sampdoria, Hellas Verona, Cagliari, Novens, and Casal 1 title each.
Yeah, and Italy, you always had those big 3. You also did. Italy was a little bit more like Portugal. You know, you always had Inter, AC, and Juventus.
And Milan.
You know what I mean?
Juventus, right.
Both Milans and Juventus. So you always had those 3 big teams. Then you had a drop off. Not a drop off like Portugal that nobody else ever wins. You know, Napoli and Maradona gave him a couple titles. You know, so
not just Maradona.
No, but I'm saying, listen, before Maradona, they never won shit. You can go.
Not just Maradona. Maradona wasn't there by himself. You could say that before, what was it, Almão, Careca, they hadn't won anything either.
Well, I know, you know, Roma, Fiorentina also had a couple of good teams when they had Batistuta and all those guys, you know, Rui Costa. So But you
That was
always
my
have to-
favorite. That was my favorite team.
But the disparity is not as bad as Portugal. Portugal is a big three. That's it. Nobody else ever wins. Boavista won. Before Boavista, when was the last time somebody besides the big three won a title in Portugal?
Belenenses like in the 60s or something, 50s or something, right, Bruno?
Belenenses?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah, I think in the 40s.
in the
Okay.
40s, something like that.
So you're talking about 2 titles outside of the big three in the last 80 years, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And remember, Belenenses are a hell of a team.
Yeah,
What was
they
the
were
name of-
the third biggest back then.
What was the name of their forward? There was a beast.
They're the name of Salazar.
No, dude. They had this forward that was a beast.
Yeah, Salazar, that's him.
No, it wasn't, dude. Come on.
Epa!
Stop.
Não, I don't stop nada.
Hold on a second. My father used to love him. Love him. My father said he never saw anybody play soccer like him.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I'll tell you. Once I tell you the name, you're gonna know.
Bruno Fernando da Silva Martins?
No, it was not Bruno Fernandes Carrasco. Hold on a
I
second.
don't know.
I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now.
So they won in 1945. I think.
Belenenses, their last title was 1946.
Oh, yeah. 1946.
Oh my God! What the hell was the name of that player, dude?
That's it. That's it. That's all you get.
No, I'm gonna find it.
No, qualquer.
I'm gonna find it.
But it says Sporting has only 19 here.
23.
19 what?
19 titles.
Matateu Carrasco.
Ah, esse gajo, pá.
Dude, the guy was supposedly he was a beast, like beast.
Matateu, you said?
Yeah, look him up.
He's the guy from the Batatas Fritas, pá. Lá de Portugal.
No, dude, this guy was. So he played 268 games for Belenenses, and he scored 210 goals.
Oh, from Mozambique.
And he played 27 games for Portugal, and he scored 13 goals.
Is that your uncle?
No, he was a hell of a player though. Like my father
Oh, yeah,
said,
damn.
Yeah, 210 goals in 268 games.
you couldn't. The problem is back then it was not like now. You know what I mean? Players couldn't move around and stuff. So he stayed at Belenenses the entire time. But you would have definitely come to Benfica, Porto, or Sporting without a doubt. Like the guy.
His nickname was the world's 8th wonder.
Yeah, the guy was a beast, dude.
Well, it's pretty cool. Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Matateu.
Matateu.
I remember hearing about him, obviously. I mean, I never saw him play. I know he played for the national team and everything, but.
And I knew a little bit more about him because my grandfather was a big Belenenses fan, like big Belenenses fan. So.
Well, Bessade or Belenenses?
Well.
Petite fan.
Yeah. The one from,
Urstilo. The one that Sporting is actually going to play for the cup.
Correct. The one that was.
What are you talking about?
Because Sporting is going to play Belenenses, not Bessade, but Belenenses, the club.
Oh, they still have their own club now.
Yeah.
Too?
If you look at it, George, they play at the Restelo. The true Belenenses club plays at the Restelo.
What
And
division
all
are they
their
in?
fans, the Furia Azul and all that, they go to that game. They don't go to the
What
Bessade.
division? What division are they in?
They're in the 4th.
Oh my goodness gracious, that's crazy.
They're in the 4th. All right, boys. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Because we talked about a lot of stuff today. Nelson, do you want to talk about anything in particular?
Oh, guys, just wish me luck Saturday. I'm going on a date. I haven't been on a date in a while.
Oh yeah. This
Listen,
guy's too funny.
If you don't send pictures, it's not true.
Awesome.
Yep.
Tá bom? Assim é que é. We don't want pictures with cellulite, huh?
No problem.
Okay.
Out of control.
And we don't want to see how big he really is.
No. I will not show that. That would be very disrespectful.
Yeah.
George,
All right, boys.
Nelson, good. Have a good week. We'll see you guys next week. To all of us, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and we'll talk next week. Shalom.
Peace out, guys. Peace.